Okay, and we should be live. So let me just check if YouTube is working as it should. And it seems to be. And let me just share the link on the Discord. And now we can get going. Great. So let me just open VoxEdit. And today we are doing something new or some new asset. So I guess I can show you the reference images, but first let me just create the folder. So I'm gonna spoil it a little bit here because you can see from the asset name. So it's gonna be inflatable castle, and I guess the stream is already named that, so it it really isn't a spoiler. I think it's fine if we do it like this, right? It's gonna create a folder for us anyway, and here are some reference images for what we're trying to do. Let me just move it like this, just so my camera doesn't hide too much of this one in the bottom right. So I guess that's what we have for today. We probably won't be able to finish it in 2 hours, but we'll see how much we can accomplish in that time. So I guess when we start, we can first create a new VXM that's gonna be basically our base, or we're gonna start with making some building blocks, and then we're gonna assemble them together, and then we'll see where we go from here. So maybe we can name this just block 0. Okay. These grids are also new. And let me just import the default palette. So that's one folder too high. Palettes, and I think we're using the extended one, right? So this asset is gonna be pretty large. So I guess we can start maybe by making it making this box like 1 block in size, and then we can make it a little bit bigger later on. So maybe we can just block 0, and then we have 2 things basically to do today. We need to kind of arrange these blocks, how they're gonna be laid out, so we can make some more details later on. And then another thing that we need to do is kind of figure out how the slide needs to be sloped, so the player can hopefully just walk onto it, and it doesn't have to use like the space or the jump key. So that are basically 2 things for today, and if we manage to do more than that, it's gonna be even better. So maybe now we can kind of try to figure out the slope of this thing, and then that's also kind of a useful base to start on, and then we can build other details around that. So maybe if I can bring the reference images back on the screen, you can kind of see that maybe we try to make these slopes first, and then we can kind of figure out what we want to do next to them for the decorations. So I guess we can now change the size of this to be, so we need to make it a little bit wider, maybe 64 voxels, so that's 2 blocks, and maybe it can be the same length or depth. And then we can make it a little bit shorter, maybe 4 voxels. And then let me just fill this in, and also let's change the pivot point to 32, and let's also move it all the way to the back, so to the 0. And then that's also good that it's on the bottom. You'll see why in a moment. So here is basically our first thingy, and maybe we can rename this into slide 0. And then let's create another child node. So this one is going to be slide 01, I guess. So we're just going to use this naming hierarchy. And actually, Now that I'm thinking about this, I guess if we make, if we move it to here, or maybe let's just adjust the pivot point actually. So I think we should move it to 32. And let's see what we have right now. And now let's move this backwards, 32 voxels, so they are aligned. And then let's just kind of try to rotate it by a little bit. So here we have 5 degrees. And then I guess we can just duplicate this and name it slide 02. And we're just gonna kind of experiment with how steep the slope can be. So the first one is going to be 5 degrees and this one is going to be increased by 5 more. And then I think I'm going to do another one or 2 more just to kind of see if the player or the avatar gets stuck once we import this into the game maker. Because it would kind of suck if we build the whole castle and then it kind of turns out that it doesn't work in the way that we want it to work. So not child node, we actually want to duplicate it and name it slide 03. And then again we attach it, we increase the slope by 5 degrees. And then let's do another one, name it slide 04. And then for this one we just repeat the same process. And now this one is actually almost well, this one is probably more than 45 degrees already. So I guess we can save now and try to export it to the marketplace so we can try it out in the game maker. So while this is loading, I guess we can also go ahead and start the Sandbox game maker. And while that's loading, we can go ahead here and just upload the asset. So I guess we're gonna name it inflatable castle. Hopefully I spelled that right. And then we can just click continue. And yeah, I think that should be it. Maybe we can just select 2 of the tags and that should be enough. So we can close this now. Let's log into the game maker. Okay, and I guess we can use our test map, which is getting a little bit crowded already by all the different creations that we have done on the recent streams. And let me just try to find our castle. Okay, it doesn't really look like much right now, but hopefully we can change that. So let's place this and also let's save it just so we don't forget that. Okay, and now let's jump into the game. Okay, here you can see already that we would need to make it a little bit less thick, but if we jump onto here we can kind of walk onto it, but the last slope is kind of too much, so here it kind of stops. So maybe the 45 degrees angle is the maximum that we can achieve, so maybe we can try that. So here is 5 and here with 10, so we have 15, and then this one has another 15, so here's 30. And this one is too much. So maybe if we were to do 5 and then 5, right? So this is 10. Or, oh my God, what's going on? Let me just reset the view. Let me undo that. And then, so this one is 5 plus 10 is 15 plus 15 is 30. And then if we make this one 15, perhaps, we would still be able to walk on it. And also we can maybe move this downwards a little bit. So maybe the avatar can step on it without having to jump. So let's do these 2 minor adjustments. Let's export it to the marketplace. And then we can just replace the asset that we have created before. So click continue, another continue, and hopefully it should work in the game maker. So let's open it up. Let's start the game. Let's exit. We're kind of trying to get that blue box around it when it's updating, so perhaps we need to quit the experience and then relaunch it, and perhaps it's gonna work this way. So test, let's edit, and I don't know. Okay, now it's updating, so this is what we wanted. Now we can, okay, but this is still too steep. So that's something that we kind of need to keep in mind, and I'm gonna just have to experiment a little bit right now to kind of figure out what kind of slope we can have so the players can run up and down the slide. So let's get back to Vox Edit. Let's make this into 10 degrees. So I think we have 40 now, just looking at this one. Let's save, let's export. So I guess I can show this replace asset, inflatable castle, continue, and that's basically it. So we can close this now. Let's see if it's gonna update. Doesn't look like it. I guess we need to relaunch it again. Okay. And now it's getting updated, and let's see if we can get all the way across. Still not, okay. Let's see. So we had 10 degrees before. Now if we put it to 5, hopefully this is gonna work. Otherwise we have kind of reached the maximum inclination with the third part, basically. So yeah, we'll see. And also it can be a little bit tricky if you're trying to do like a rounded slide, so it's not like a straight down or maybe like a loop, so that's gonna be also pretty tricky, but we can try that, I guess. We'll see. Let me just update the asset. Let's get back to the Sandbox game maker. Let's relaunch the experience. Okay. Let's do this. And let's see if we actually... Okay, now we can make it all the way through. So I think that's 35 degrees angle. But yeah, that's basically the most inclination that we can have. So this one is 5, plus 10 is 15, plus 15 is 30, and then plus 5 is 35. So that's basically most that we can get, so the player can kind of run up on it without having to jump. So now we can kind of start making like some slides, now that we know the steepness of the slopes, and we should also kind of keep in mind that it shouldn't be like larger than 16 by 16 blocks. So also another good thing to have is to have a controller node. So let's make this one a controller. So this is kind of like a parent node that we can just kind of move or adjust, so we can center everything, and all the child nodes are going to be relative to this one. So there's that. And then let's see if we can put this to maybe -2. And also this is, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks long. We can make this a little bit longer still. And I'm just thinking if we should maybe make like some larger segments. So we are using basically a lower amount of nodes. So let's rename a model into slide 0, which is going to be like a larger slide. And then we can also edit this and then maybe make this so the next block is, we can make it like 96 wide, so it's three blocks wide, and then maybe 64, so it's 3 by 2 blocks. And let's fill it in, and let's also adjust the pivot point so it's in the center. So we have 48 and then 0. Cool. Okay, now we have this little weird thingy going on where we need to basically just readjust all the nodes so they are kind of where they should be. And also, let me see where the that's weird. Why is it? Oh, shouldn't the center be like here? What the heck is going on? Well, who'd know? Oh, maybe the controller is moved, right? Okay, so this should be at 0. Okay. Cool. So I guess we can start making our first slide. So let's create a child node. Let's name it slide 01. And let's attach our model to it. And I guess this needs to be moved into this direction, right? So we can kind of slope it upwards. Also, maybe the rounded parts can be like shorter, and then the straight part is gonna be a little bit longer. So maybe we can just duplicate this into slide. I should just give them some kind of name so I can distinguish them. So maybe this can be slide wide 1, and this one is gonna be slide wide 0. So let's rename this into slide wide 0. Okay. So this one is gonna be slide W1, and let's edit it. And I guess we can make it 32. And also let's adjust the, oh, wait, what? Okay. It has decreased on the other side. My bad. Okay, and then we can rotate it. Okay, so this one is gonna be by 5 degrees. And then let's duplicate this node, name it slide 02. And let's attach it here. Oh, yeah. Okay. It's a little bit tricky because we are having different sizes of these things. So now it's at the edge, and now we can rotate it upwards by another 5 degrees. So we're gonna get like a really nice slope. Maybe we can make some of them like by 10. So just so we don't use like too many of these, we would otherwise have to use like 7 of them at the bottom and then 7 of them at the top, which can be quite a lot. So let's see if we make this into 5, 5, then maybe another one. So this time we can duplicate it because it's offset by only 32. So like this. And now we're gonna use, let's see, duplicate slide 04. And now we're gonna use the 10%. And so these are 15 together, and now we can use 3 of them with 10%, so we should be able to get to 35, right? So let's duplicate it again, slide 0, 5, attach it back, and then another one if I'm not mistaken. So nope, that's the wrong selection, so let's duplicate, slide 0, 6, and let's attach it here. Okay, so this looks really steep. Let's see, 5, 10, 15, so this is 25, 35, yeah, this one is too much actually. So let me just reset the rotation, and let's just test it out again in the game maker, just to kind of see if it's actually working still, or we need to get some adjustments going on. So let's replace the asset. Okay. So let's open the game maker. Let's quit it. And let's launch it again. So okay. And now we should have, yeah, and it's also rotated the other way. Okay, so now we're having some issues already here at the top. But I think we can... let's see. I think... that's weird. I was kind of hoping we would be able to get across. Let's see what's wrong here. So if we get rid of this one, so we can just unlink it. Let's see if we can get across now. Or maybe we can just replace the short one with the longer one. And we will see what happens now. So let's export to marketplace again. Export. Replace. And that's it basically. Okay. And now let's relaunch this thing again. And hopefully this time it works like it should. Otherwise we'll have to do some adjustments again. So let's see, can we get... Okay, so this works now, that's good. Okay, and now we can kind of try to figure out what the length should be. So now we have it like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 8 blocks. So that's already pretty pretty darn long. So yeah. And then we kind of need the same shape of this at the top also. So it's not really gonna be that tall, at least not this one. Oh, hi there, Hanky. Welcome to the stream. So here we have like 4 of these shorter ones that are kind of making the rounded part. And then maybe we can make another one of these. Let's see. Delete this node. Let's create another child node. Name it slide 06, and then maybe we can try to attach this as well. So extend it a little bit further and then move it to 64. And now we're gonna try to do the same thing that we have done with these shorter ones, just to kind of make it horizontal again. So let's create another child node. It's gonna be called slide 07. And then we attach the short one to it. Let's move it all the way to the edge. And now this time, I think we would actually need another node because this one has a pivot point at the bottom. So I guess we can just kind of make an example, but you can see we get this kind of tooth here. So we'll need to duplicate this one and basically just move the pivot point. So this one should be slide wide 2. And then let's put this node to it. Let's also reset the rotation. And then let's go to the editor, and then let's move the pivot point from 0 to 4. So it's at the upper bound. And now you can see it's actually offset, so we can correct that pretty quickly. And now when we rotate it by like 5 degrees, it actually gives a nice connected slope at the top. And maybe I can make like 1 or 2 more links, and then we'll check it out again in the game maker to see if everything is working as intended. So let's create a child node first, and this one's going to be slide 08, and then let's attach this one to it. And then after this one we can basically just duplicate and nest it, so that's gonna make our process a little bit faster. So now we can do this, duplicate slide 09, and then when we put it here, and then the last one should make it horizontal again. So duplicate slide 09, nope, we already have that one, so it's gonna be slide 010. Okay, and now I guess we're ready to test it in the game maker, and let me just kind of count the length. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 blocks. 13 blocks, so that's actually a pretty long slide, to be honest. So let's export. Then we can just replace the asset and then click continue, continue again, and then that should be enough to get it working in the game maker. Okay, now for some reason it's still not updating it, so we need to close the experience and then relaunch it. So edit, and let's wait for it to load, and then we'll have to jump in, jump out, and now it should be updated. Okay, so here we have it, and let's see if we can get all the way to the top. Oh no, so that's not good. Well, if we jump we can get there, but otherwise not. So let's see if we can fix that by basically, since we have like two different nodes here, maybe we can merge them into one. So we can duplicate this into slide W3. That's already quite a lot of models, and then we can attach this one here, and then this one can be unlinked. Okay, so now we have the gap, and then let's go to this model and then extend it to 128, and then let's fill the rest of the volume. So now it's still connected, and let's see if we can make it work now. At least last time I think that was causing some issues. We'll see. Okay, and I guess we can also simultaneously quit the experience here, just to kind of save on some time, because we're gonna be jumping a lot into the game maker and out, at least on today's stream. At least until we can kind of figure out what kind of slopes we can work with. I thought we already had it, but okay, so this is still the old version, and now it should be updated. Let's see. Okay, but now, wait, what? How did I get to the top? Okay, so now it's getting kind of interesting. Interesting indeed. Well, okay, now we have made it glitch somehow. Okay, so that's gonna be a little bit tougher than I expected. So one thing that we can maybe try out would be if we're getting some kind of friction here at the, maybe we can color it, but before that I think I would just like to move this downwards a little bit, and maybe this can help it out. And then let's also, so these are slide W2. Okay, that's good because they're another node, so we can fill them in with some other color, so we can kind of see better when our glitches or stuff like that happens. So let's export to the marketplace, and let's also quit the experience. Replace. Okay. So we have updated our marketplace version. So now when we get in the game. Okay, so this is still the old version. You can see there isn't any blue part. And now here we have our updated, and you can see like there's a little offset here. So let's see if this helps. Okay, it doesn't. But you can see it kind of happens at the intersection, so that's most likely the problem. Well, what can we do about that? Maybe we can just decrease this by 5 maybe, so it isn't as steep. So let's see if this helps it. Otherwise we'll see what we can do. Maybe if we just cut it off, maybe that would help. But yeah, so there's that. Let's quit this. And you can see we still have like an old thumbnail because we haven't like explicitly saved the experience. We're just kind of using the same assets, but we're updating it in the meantime. So okay, so this time we can get all the way to the top, so I guess this is better. Or well, now it's working as intended finally. And maybe just to kind of test the boundaries, maybe we can just try to maybe do it somewhere in between, just to kind of see if we can trick it maybe a little bit, just to make it a little bit steeper. So that's basically just like testing the boundaries. So I guess we're gonna have to restart our experience one last time, and then we can maybe build something else. So hopefully now it's working. Let's see. Okay, now it's, no, wait, what? Can I get like, okay, so if you're walking we get stuck, and yeah, okay, we somehow glitched it last time. Interesting. So I guess we're learning something new every day. So let me just change this back to 355, and then I guess we can also get rid of the last one. Actually, let me just change this from 10 to 5. Okay, so now we should have like our horizontal like node or something like that. So let's see if we were to put like this longer one here at the end. I guess we would need to adjust it a little bit, but let's see what the actual size is. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, Okay, so that's that's basically 16 blocks, like for this whole slide, which might be a little bit too large. So let's try to use a little smaller one here at the top, and then let's also put it downwards like so. And then also I'm kind of thinking if we could maybe reduce the amount of links here at the bottom. So that would be a little tricky, but not too tricky, I guess. So maybe we can just get rid of slide 02, and then let's delete this node. Okay, and let's see if we go. So this one is 5, 5, and then this one is 10, and this one is 5 again. So maybe we can make this one 5, and if we do this one at 10, we're actually gonna, wait, what? We don't have enough inclination, right? We need to rotate it, but a little bit more. So, yeah. Okay, so I think this is horizontal now at the end. Let me just check the length, maybe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is, I guess, 14 blocks, something around that. So that's a decent length. And now we can try one last time. If we can get to the top, I think this is gonna be it for this slide at least. And then we can kind of start figuring out some decorations around it and stuff like that. But I kind of wanted to make like the first slide so we can kind of have like an, oh come on, now I have clicked on create new asset, my bad. So we can kind of get like a base idea of the size that we are making, and then we can build the other stuff around it, because it would be kind of unfortunate if we made like half of an asset and then we just kind of figure out that the size is not suitable for it. So let's quit this. Let me replace the asset. Hopefully I don't get PTSD of updating assets in the marketplace from today. Okay. Let's see now. Okay, so now we have the whole thing. Let's see, can we get to the top? Okay, that's great, that's great. Lovely. And then I think we still have this minor offset that you can kind of see here, like a little shadow. So let's not forget to get rid of that as well. And I'm just gonna quit it now because next time we're gonna have to relaunch it anyway. So I think we had like a minor correction here. So I guess it would be easiest if we just yeah, I guess if we just reset both things, and then we can just move it upwards and then upwards in another direction. And then we can rotate it. So, bing. And then also we have like a minor offset, I think, here. So let's see how that occurred. So let's reset the rotation. Let's reset the offset. I mean, I guess we could kind of skip this, but I'm a little bit of a perfectionist here, so oh yeah. So before we do that, I guess we can just rotate it around the z-axis, so we have the pivot point on top, and now we can just readjust the positioning, and then we rotate it by 5 degrees. Cool. So there's that, and then I guess we can also go here and just use our default gray, which I forgot which one it is, so let me just quickly check that out. Okay. And also I'm wondering what these lines displayed here are. Maybe they're like block separators, so since this is 3 blocks long, perhaps? That's kind of interesting. Let's see if it does the same thing for the bigger ones. Well, nope. Interesting, but you can see it here. Okay. So now we have like our first slope. Let's just save everything. And now I guess we can kind of return back to our reference images to kind of try to figure out what kind of details or like what do we want to do next. Maybe like some guards on the sides. I guess we can do something like that. So those should be kind of the same dimensions, right? But they can be a little bit bulkier because they're kind of like inflated stuff, or there's like air in them, so they shouldn't be like thin. And then I guess we can just let's see. So we can duplicate this and then slide W. And I'm just thinking if we could just maybe model them, but there can be some pros and cons to that. I guess it's definitely good because we don't use too many nodes. So maybe let's try this. Or no, actually it's gonna mess with the collision boxes, so we need to make it separate. So let's make some new models. So slide W1 side, that kind of makes the most sense. And then this one can be like a little bit taller, so maybe half a block. And then we can make it narrower into maybe like half a block as well. And now let's fill this in. And then let's also, I guess it would be easiest if we center the pivot point, because when we move them to the left and right, it's gonna have like the same offset to each side. So I guess we can go here and then create child node. I guess I'm just gonna use an S for slide, so S01 side 0. Oh my gosh, there's gonna be like so many nodes here. So let's move this to 56. And then I guess we can duplicate it, and this one is going to be S01 side 1. And we can nest it, so we can basically duplicate the whole thing. And then this should go to what, -112. And now we can just duplicate this thing. So this is going to be S03, I guess, because we got rid of S02 side 0. And now let's attach it here. And now we're kind of slowly building our rails. And I guess it wouldn't hurt if we made them a little bigger, but that can be made later on. Or not, actually. The pivot points could mess up our build a little bit. So maybe just make it 32 by 32. I guess with this stuff it's better to go a little bit overboard than making it too small. So let's adjust the pivot point again to 16. And now you can see, I guess, it's intersecting a little bit, which isn't too problematic, I guess, but I would like to just have them on the sides. So this one is gonna go to 64 and this one is at 124. And I guess we can just readjust these two, and the other ones should fit right in because they're gonna be just duplicates. Or wait, this isn't good enough. It needs to go to 128, right? My math is bad. I'm on holidays. That's gonna be my excuse at least. So now let's minimize these two. And let's duplicate again into S04 side 0 and attach it here. And now we have the long one. So we can just duplicate, actually we can still duplicate the nodes, but we're just gonna use some different models. So let's duplicate in side or S05 side 0. And I guess these are already like unique names, so it perhaps doesn't have to be as long. And then this time we need to duplicate this one as well. So slide W what? Which is the long one actually? W3. I guess we can duplicate this, right? So slide W3 side. And now let's make it into 32 by 32. Wait, no. It needs to go this. Does it though? Wait a second. I think this should be the way it's supposed to go. And now let's move the pivot point to 16. So, okay. And now, yeah, you're right. I think I'm just gonna try to use a little shorter names for the other nodes. So when we duplicate this one, we're just gonna use S06, and that should be good enough. Oh, we don't have a S06 node. So let me just get rid of that node because it's empty. Okay, delete node, and now we need to kind of readjust everything again. So let's see. Okay, so that's right, but this needs some adjusting. So let's move this to 0 or rotate it to 0, and then let's move it upwards to 128. Come on. And now let's rotate it back to 5 degrees. Okay, so we have that, and I guess we can just save because if you don't save and the animator crashes, then you kind of lose your whole node hierarchy, and that kind of sucks. So yeah. So let's duplicate this. Actually, let's see. Is this the duplicated already? Okay. So we can rename this into S07 and attach it here. And then let's move it back to 0. And here, I guess we're having some problems because we're now rotating around the other pivot point. So I think we should just delete this node. And then we can kind of continue going from here. So we're gonna create a new child node, and I guess we can name this S070. And then let's attach the short one to it. And then this time we're gonna have to rotate it all the way around, so the pivot point is at the top. Like this. And now let's readjust it, and then let's rotate it by 5 degrees. So now it's actually offset by a little bit, but I think it shouldn't be too problematic. So I'm just gonna build this side all the way, and then we can just duplicate it onto the other side. So let's create another child node, S080, and then let's put this one there. And now we need to do the same thing, so we can wait, no. Actually, because the other one is rotated again, I think we should be fine. So let's move this to 32, and then let's rotate it by 10 degrees. And then we can just duplicate this one, name it as 090. put it here. And then I think the last one can be duplicated again as 0, 10. And this one is just by 5, right? Okay, so these are... Wait. Yeah, it should be like this. And then we can use like a longer one to make it all the way around or not. We can decide on that later. But first let's duplicate this node and name it as 0, 7, 1. Then let's attach it here. Okay, so we have our slide, I guess, more or less done. And then maybe let's just do something here at the end. So let me see, we're using the slide W0. So let's name this slide W0 side, and then the other one is gonna be like the end that's gonna be on this side. So wait, it's here. Okay. I'm kind of used to them being put on the end, but yeah, apparently they have changed that a little bit, so they're ordered alphabetically either way. So let's fill this in, and then let's move the pivot point to the middle, which is at, wait a second, I think this should be 32, right? It did appear a little bit too thin, so like this. Then let's fill this in, and then let's add another child node. So that's going to be S0 side. Wait, what happened there? Let me save. Slide 0 side 0. Okay, we're still going strong. Let's move this one all the way here to 64. And then let's duplicate this node into slide 0 side 1. So we can kind of at least a little bit understand which part is which. Okay, and then we kind of have two options. I think it's a little bit better if we keep it open, just so the players can go up and down. But another option would be to kind of make it closed, so maybe like it would be a little bit more realistic, but a little bit less useful in the gameplay. So now that we have like our one of our base slides, we can kind of try to figure out what else we want to do. So one option would be to just kind of copy paste this to the other side and to just make like two symmetric slides, one next to the other. I think that would be like a pretty good option, since this is kind of the longest slide that we're gonna make. We can make it a little bit more interesting that way. So let me collapse most of this stuff, and then let's just try to duplicate this node. So this is going to be slide 1. And now let's offset it by, let's see, 128, I think. And then we can just get rid of one of these lines or these sides, because they're basically overlapping, as you can see here. So that's what we're gonna go ahead and try to do. So I guess we can, yeah, we can start by clicking the correct buttons. So let's delete this node. Let's now just maybe we should just move this slide onto the other side, just so we're deleting everything from here. We're not like deleting this part and then maybe this part and then like zigzagging from one slide to the other. I think that would be a little bit unwanted. And here, yeah, judging from this, I guess it would be a little bit better if we were to delete this side here actually. So let me try to undo this, and then let's try deleting this side actually. Because otherwise we would just have to unlink VXM from node, and I don't know if that's actually like the best. So we're just kind of following our hierarchy. So let's delete this node. Okay, this one has all of these as child, so this is gonna be actually really easy. So let's just delete this one, and ta-da! Yeah, nice. Okay, so now we can put them one next to the other. Cool. So here in the back we can, well, one thing we can actually do is first to extend this backwards, so it kind of gets aligned with this corner here and here. So then we can make like some platform in the back. And now let's see, we are using an already existing block, so maybe let's duplicate it. So this is slide 0 side. So I guess we can try to put this one here. It's a little bit extended, but not far enough, so I guess we're gonna have to do another one. So this one is gonna be slide W0 side 1 something like this, I guess. And now let's go here, and actually it's rotated on its head, but that doesn't really bother us. And it's really nice that the z-axis is extending towards us, so we don't have to adjust some stuff. And now let's see how much longer we can make it, so it can kind of intersect with that. Okay, so 78 seems to be the appropriate length, and let me just fill it. Okay. For some reason it's playing some tricks on me today, Vox Edit. And now that we have this, we can put it on the other ones that are too short. Wait, this one, right? Okay, great. And then this one as well. So they're all kind of aligned at the back. And these actually kind of remind me of some escalators maybe, but we don't have the steps actually. And also let's just maybe put this now in the game maker to kind of see how big this thing is, and how much room you have at the back actually to maybe do some other stuff. Otherwise we're just gonna do it here on the sides. So let me replace our asset. Let's get back into the game. Okay, so this is still a pretty old build. And okay, so now we have our updated thingy. And if we go into the edit mode, and then we place some blocks, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So to be honest, we don't really have much room at the back. Yeah. So maybe we shouldn't make this too extended, because it would be kind of nice if we had like some platform here or something like that. So let's see how much further we can go. to that direction, maybe 3 blocks at max. And then we're already reaching our capacity. Otherwise we could, I guess, make it a little bit shorter here at the end. That could also help a little bit. And I guess we can save now, why not? Yeah. Okay. So now I guess we can get back to Vox Edit, and now it's gonna be a little bit tricky, but I think we should make this shorter, just so we have some more room in the back. So I guess we would need to replace the sides with the shorter ones, and then the base as well. So, and then we'll just need to like adjust the rest of the child nodes so they're like sticking together properly, and then this as well. And then I think this is the parent node of the rest. So first let's rotate it to the neutral position, and then let's move it backwards, and then we can rotate it back. And then let's do the same thing for the other one. So we move it here, then we rotate it upwards. Okay, so now we have like another block of playing space at the back. And then here for these, I think at least for these two that are like on the inner side, we can make them a little bit shorter, just so we have like a larger platform available for us. So maybe here in the middle can be a little bit shorter. And then for these platforms at the top, I think I'm gonna use the separate one, or actually I don't know if we're using, okay, so the slide W0 is used only here, so I guess we can just go ahead and edit it so it kind of matches the length of this part, and then we can have a larger platform that's kind of the base there. So now let me use the eraser or the delete tool, or what's this called? Erase mode. Okay. So now this is aligned, and then we can put another platform here at the back. And then I guess this one can be the shorter one as well. Wait, what? Okay. Actually, we can just close them all like this. And then actually I think we have like 4 blocks or something like that of the space still left. So let's duplicate this one and then maybe name it like platform large. And then this one is going to be like basically a base here at the back. So where is our platform large? Okay. So it's actually first in the alphabetical order. So maybe we can make it like 3 blocks long, because we still need to have like some padding in the back and stuff. So this is going to be 96. And then the width should be, so the first slide is 3 blocks, and then the middle is 1, so that's 4, and then the other one is 4 as well, so that's 8 blocks, and I think that's like 256. We'll see if my math was correct. And also maybe we can move the pivot point to, I don't know, some kind of a center, so maybe 128 in this direction. Oops, come on. And then 248 in the Z axis, so like this. And then I guess it would kind of make most sense if that would be just a child of this controller node. So let's create another child node. It's gonna be called platform large. And then let's attach this thingy to it. Then let's offset it by 80. Yeah. And then let's offset it again by, I don't know, a lot. And then let's move it upwards and let's see if we can align it somehow with the rest of our asset. So, okay. I guess it can be a little bit, there can be like a tiny gap here, just so everything is kind of aligned. Then let's see how much further we can extend this outwards. Let's see. So if we move it here, we can turn on the collision boxes, I think is what they're called. And we can kind of see, so they are nicely aligned, at least I think so. So there we have that. And then I guess we can use a longer, like maybe this one to replace this side. So I think that one was, which one? W3 side, let's see. Okay, so here it is. And now I forgot which node I need to replace it with. Okay, that's perfect actually. It just aligns nicely. Now, and I guess we can go ahead and check our dimensions again in the game maker, just so we don't exceed our 16 by 16 size limit. Okay, let's wait for everything to be processed, and then let's replace our asset real quickly. And then let's go to the game maker to relaunch our test map. And let's see what we got going on here. Okay. So if we get, wait, let me get rid of some of these blocks. So these are 16, right? 4, 4, 4, 4. Okay, so we still have some room here at the back, so like a block or two. That's good. And let me just kind of double check if we can still move around as we're supposed to. Maybe we can also tumble and sprint. That's also good. And I guess we can save now again. Why not? So basically we can extend this large platform at the back for another block. Let me get back to Vox Edit. And then let's make this 128. Cool. And I guess we can leave the pivot point as it is, because otherwise we would just need to readjust our positions. Thanks. Hopefully you can do something like this as well, at least in a little bit shorter time, because I have tested most of the stuff, but these 5 degrees angles make it like really smooth. But just be careful if you're doing like wheels and stuff, it can like really quickly increase the number of faces when you duplicate them, because yeah. Okay, so we can turn off the collision boxes for now. And now let's see kind of what we want to do here in the corner. So maybe we could do, well, I guess I'm just gonna do like an outline, and then we can kind of try to figure out what else we can try to squeeze in. So let's create another child node. This one is going to be S011 parentheses. Parentheses aren't working, okay. But I guess because we haven't, yeah, especially since I have to relaunch everything and then uploading, and yeah, it takes a little bit longer than one might wish. Okay, so let's move this to 128. And then here I guess we can just kind of continue going around by using these longer segments. So let's create a child node. And we can just continue our counting because the computer doesn't care. At least I hope so. So let's rotate this around. So let's see, -16 should align them nicely. And then here we can see like there's a voxel or two of overlap, but I don't think that's too big of a problem. And also we're just kind of placing the nodes, and later on if we decide like this castle wall needs to be like taller or something like that, we can just replace it by another model. So now let's create another child node that is going to be called S013. And then let's put this here again, and then let's move it by 128. So we got it kind of going all the way around, and then maybe we can turn this on back again, just so we can kind of see a little bit better where our stuff is placed. And then of course we're gonna have to figure out some stuff to kind of support this at the bottom, because of course this stuff doesn't just float around in the sky. And then maybe another thing that we could do would be to duplicate this platform. Let's see, create a child node. Let's call it plat L0. Let's put this here, and then we can move it all the way across and then rotate it around. So we're gonna have like some area on the side of our slide, or on the side of our two slides actually, to be completely precise with our with what we're doing. And then we can duplicate this again to maybe make it more into a square shape. So let's create another child node, plat L1, and then let's attach it again. Cool. So once we extend this outwards to 128, so these two are aligned. Now we can kind of try to figure out whether we want to do like maybe another slide here, or maybe some stairs. So I guess in the real world people would be going upwards, and then they would be kind of waiting in a line so they could slide downwards and something like that. But before that, let me just take a sip of my drink, because I'm a little bit thirsty actually. Okay, so I guess now we're at the point that we can check again some of our references to kind of see what else we could do. So maybe some of these castles have like different heights of attractions and stuff. So maybe we could try to mimic that in a way. So like one of these two platforms could be like a little bit downwards or something like that. And then again, because we're making such a large asset, we would need to be careful again that we don't exceed the size requirements into the other direction as well. So let me just kind of count some of these boxes. So that's 4, 5, 9. Oh no. Okay, so here is 16, and we're already across the limit. Oh no, that's not good. Yeah. Interesting. I might need to have a word with somebody if it's possible to make a little larger asset. Otherwise, I guess... Yeah, otherwise we don't really have much options because I can't really squeeze any other slides in here unless we were to make like something like this, and then it would be just like this tiny slide. So yeah. Okay, I guess we'll need to leave this second part for some other time when I get some clarification on that. But I guess we can start making some more details for this part, and let me just save everything, just so we don't lose our hard-earned progress in case something crashes. So here at the end, maybe we can make like some kind of, I guess, gates or some kind of decorations, maybe like this bee. Or, well, we're probably gonna go more into this direction as the whole art. Let me just zoom in a little bit. More into this castle-like looks, but yeah, we can try to do some kind of rounded details here at the ends. So I guess this might be actually a little bit too long if we were to put them here, and also since this is a parent node, we can't really rotate it, so we'll need to create a separate model. So let me see, which is this W1 side. Let's duplicate this, and this is gonna be like slide and decoration. Which is okay here. And now, well, this needs to be at least 2 blocks and a little bit more, because we have some padding already from the slide. So I think if we make it 3 blocks tall, it should be more than enough. And let's fill it in. So there's that, and then we can do the same for the other 2 nodes. And then one option would be to make like some spikes at the top. The other one would be to make it like some rounded shape, or we could actually do both. I mean, why not? We can maybe make this into like castle gates, and then this into some kind of a tower. So let's go ahead and try to do that. So for this one, we're gonna create a child node. It's gonna be named maybe gates, because slope, we might use slope somewhere else. So this is gonna be gates L0, just for the left side. Or no, we can just rename it into gates 0. Because we're most likely gonna just duplicate it onto the other side and then just rotate it around, so the naming conventions should work in our favor, hopefully. And since we are using, yeah, I guess we can try using these models. Although we would most likely have to replace them later on, because once we start like coloring them and doing some decorations, it's gonna look a little bit weird if they are just the same color. I guess for now, just to kind of get the idea of the slope and stuff, it's gonna be alright, but I think I'm just gonna replace them later on today once I'm satisfied with the looks of it. So now we can kind of start sloping them inwards. And now when we create another child node, we'll be able to just duplicate and nest them. So this is going to be gates 1. And then let's move it to 32. And then let's rotate it by another 10 degrees. And now you can see we're getting some issues because it's no... Oh, now it's displaying the... Wait, what? Okay, so it's not displayed currently, but once you hover it, it displays it, right? So that's weird, but whatever. And now I guess what we can do is just would be to duplicate and nest them, but I think we're just a little bit too low on the rotation. So maybe something like this. So we have 15 degrees between them, and then we can just duplicate it into gates 2 and attach. And even that might be a little bit too much. We'll see. And then let's duplicate it again into gates 3. Yeah. They are definitely too long. So let me just duplicate this into gates slope, I guess. And since they're kind of overlapping like this, we won't be really able to do much, not much, but like many details. But we're just gonna mostly use like one color to kind of indicate that. Let me find this. Let's see where the pivot point is. And I guess we're just gonna make it into 16 height, so we don't take the entire space with this slope. So let's put it here, and then the rest we can just get rid of them and we'll redo them again. So create child node, gate, let's use the same name. I was thinking of being a little bit lazy, but one letter doesn't really change much. And also let's make sure we're grabbing the correct one. And then 3 again. And now we can just duplicate gates 2. So I guess we need like 90 degrees. And that would be like, we'll see. Duplicate gates 3. Gates 4. And hopefully this is the last one. Gates 5. Okay. So this should be good, and then let's just duplicate this whole thing into gates 0, 1, I guess, and we can nest it here, and then let's reset this rotation, rotate it around to 70. And then let's move it all the way to the right. And then let's rotate it by 15 degrees. Okay, so here we have that. And then one of these two nodes can be like, we can get rid of it actually. And the other one can be like extended a little bit further. So I think I'm just gonna use the extended one first, so we can see kind of where they overlap, and then let's see, gates, horizon, yeah, we're just gonna use it once, so. Why did we just rename that? Oh no, we didn't, okay. So I guess we can use it on the original one, and then let's extend it outwards, so into the Y direction to maybe 64. So that's a little bit too much, but we can always make it a little bit smaller and then just trim the volumes. So let's kind of try and see where the final one, yeah, we might have a little bit of interesting occurrence. So yeah, I think, well, I hope nobody's gonna be too nitpicky about this, but yeah. Cool. So we can reduce the number of our nodes by 1. So let's get rid of this one. Okay. And oh, we forgot to trim the volume, right? Think, okay. Cool. So that's for like the gates. Let me save that. And then for the tower, we have like a couple of options what we want to do. Maybe we can even try to make it a little bit chunkier. So it's not just 1 by 1. It can be like maybe 1.5 by 1.5. So let's see. Slide and decor. I guess we can rename this into slide and gates. And then let's duplicate this into slide and tower, I guess. And then, yeah, I think if we made it 2 by 2 blocks, it might be a little bit too chunky. So let's try making it 48 by 48. Then let's fill this in, and we can even make it a little bit taller. So maybe 128 could work. So we got that, and then let's just put this here. And I guess we can, nope, that's the wrong one, but let's center the pivot point to 24. Then 24 in this direction as well. And then let me readjust it here also. So we need to move it a little bit backwards. And then a little bit to the right. Okay. So here is kind of our tower base. And then we can kind of try to make it like some kind of a circular shape or something like that. So for that we have, again, a couple of options. And another thing that we kind of need to figure out would be how to make the spike at the top if we were to go for that. So let's see. I guess we can make some octagons and then just kind of scale them inwards. And then if they aren't like perfectly aligned, that might help us with like adding a little bit more circularity. Is that a word? So I guess the easiest way would be just for me to kind of try to build it, and then you'll see for yourself. So all of these rounded shapes are gonna be like a little bit intensive, but yeah, what can you do? So let's see, this is gonna be like tower, spike, 0, and we'll see how many of these we need. So here, let's see if that one is 1.5 blocks, so maybe this can be like 16 by 4, And then let's see how tall we want to make it, maybe 8. And then also let's make sure that the pivot point is on the outer side. It can be in the bottom corner, that's completely fine. And then I guess we can create a child node. It's gonna be I guess, and yeah, tower spike 0, something like this. Now let's move it upwards, and then let's attach our model to it. Okay, so that's really small. We'll see how how big this actually turns out to be. So let's create a child node. It's gonna be tower spike 0, 1. And then let's move it to 16. And then let's also rotate it by 45 degrees, okay, into the other direction. And then let's repeat this a couple of times. So and now I guess we can get a little bit lazy to duplicate the parent. And this is going to be TS03. And then we need to duplicate this one into TS04, and we should have our circle completed. Let's see. Okay. And you can kind of see it's a little bit too small. I was kind of hoping that it would be just a little bit larger, to be honest. And also here we have like this little problem that we can't really, well, it's kind of difficult to figure out what the offset should be, so the thing is actually centered. So something like this, perhaps. Maybe another. So in this case, I think it would be a little bit better because we would use a lower amount of faces and models, but it wouldn't look as perfect here. I think we're just gonna go with another option to make circles. You kind of always need to have some kind of a trade-off, but I think it's still gonna look fine, at least if you're not using like the magnifying glass. It took me a moment to kind of figure out what the what it was actually called. So let's create a child node. Let's call it again tower spike 0, but this time it's kind of like a, oh my god, it's different enough, so we need to kind of create a different model. I'm just gonna attach it here so we can kind of see it, but this time I think we're gonna make it, I don't know, 24 at least, and then the depth should be, I don't know, 48 is like the same width as the base, so maybe we can go to 54 just to make it a little bit bigger, and then the side can be like the half of this maybe, so that's 28 if I'm not mistaken. No, 27 actually. And now let's move the pivot point to 27, and then I guess 13 and a half, like this. So this should be centered, hopefully. Well, let's move it downwards so it aligns with the top of this tower base. And then let's duplicate this node into TS0. Or I guess we can nest it, just so when we wait, what? Where is it? Oh, okay. Let's move it downwards then. And then let's rotate it by 45 degrees. And we'll see kind of by how much we need to extend or shorten it. So let's duplicate it again, TS01, and then the last one gonna be TS02. So now we're basically using half of the amount of those of nodes and faces as well. So now we actually need to kind of figure out what the correct dimensions for this rectangle should be. And I think that we can make them even a little bit longer, because here on the diagonal they kind of don't even come close to the edge. So let's see how far we can extend this. Maybe we can put it to 64. Let's fill this in, and then let's move all the pivots to 32. Oops. Okay, so now it's kind of looking better because we don't have as much intersections anymore. And let me just try putting it to maybe 66. What would happen in this case? So now we have like this tiny teeth in between, but that's really not a problem. And then we can make them a little bit taller as well. So maybe we can make them, I don't know, 32 might be a little bit too much. So maybe 24, something like this. Okay. And then we can basically duplicate this whole thing. So let's duplicate node. This is gonna be tower spike 1. Although we might run into some problems if we go ahead and try to make multiple of those, but I guess we'll kind of work with that problem once we get to it. And now we need to kind of be careful that we don't edit it yet. We need to first create another model for it. So it should be tower spike 1. And then let's replace all of these models with the other ones. So when we edit it, it actually it doesn't overwrite the bottom ones. So like this, I think. And then let's go ahead and try to make them a little bit shorter. So maybe this can be like, I don't know, 48. That's not too much. And once we readjust this to 24, we can kind of see that now these are too wide. And we can go ahead and use the Z mirroring and then just start erasing some stuff to kind of see where the rest kind of aligns in the way it's supposed to be. And let's see. Okay. Like this, and then maybe we can have like 1 or 2 more of these towards the top, just to kind of make it look like a spike on the tower or like some spiky roof or stuff like that. And we'll see if these are too tall. I guess we can make them a little bit smaller. That's not really too big of a problem. So let me duplicate this again. What did I just do? Oh no, I deleted it, my bad. Misclick. It's good to have Control Z. Let's see, duplicate node. That's what we want. Tower spike 2. Then let's extend, not really extend, let's just move it upwards. That's too much, like this. And then let's let's duplicate this into tower spike 2 as well. And then let's replace all of these. Wait, what? Okay. With a new model. And then let's make this one even shorter, so maybe 32 in diameter. Let's also change the pivot points so they create a circle, well, kind of a circle. And then let's get erasing like this, and then trim the volumes. And wow, we are almost done. So I think we can use one more, like it kind of reminds me of a wedding cake actually, to be honest, with these stacks like going upwards and getting narrower. So hopefully this time we click the correct button. We name it Tower Spike 3, which is gonna be like the smallest one at the top. And then let's duplicate this, Tower Spike 3. And then let's attach this to all the child nodes here. And let's go ahead and make them even shorter. So I guess we can go for 16 maybe, even a little bit less, maybe 12. I guess we can go for 16, and if that turns out to be like too much, we can make it smaller still. So there's that. And wait. Oh, yeah, I think we need to move it upwards as well. So let's move this upwards. And this time I'm actually not entirely sure if we need to have like a multiple of those, like 8 of them. Might be a little bit of an overkill just to create this top thingy. Maybe we can just make it 1 and then just model it out. So let's get rid of those nodes like this. And then I guess we can just model it out if we want to make it like more rounded. Well, if we want to make it appear more rounded, to be precise. And I guess this time we can use the symmetric dimensions. So let's cut this into 16 as well. And let's adjust the pivot point. So this is good. This is, well, just a sec. We need to increase this into 16. Like this. And then let's move the pivot point to 8. Okay, okay. So everything is centered as it's supposed to be. And I guess one cool thing is that since we have everything nested, we can just duplicate this node and name it, I don't know, Tower 1, 2, 3. And we can have the whole thing ready to be put onto some other place. Should we decide we want to put this anywhere else. So let me get rid of this node for now. And I guess we can try to export this into the game maker to kind of try out if these collision boxes are all working as intended. And I think we're slowly approaching the time that I'm gonna conclude the stream for today. And we'll see what kind of directions I get about the size, whether we should just make the whole thing a little bit smaller, or if we're allowed to make it a little bit larger than maybe the guidelines suggest it should be. So I don't know why this has, why is this lagging? Come on, come on, marketplace. Let me upload. Let me try it again. Hopefully it works this time. Okay. So maybe if I show it on stream, it might not bug out. So continue, continue. Okay, this time it works, so that's good. Let's get rid of that. Let's open the game maker. Let's get to editing. Okay, so that's already an updated version, I think. So we can get through it nicely. We can also walk through here. I think this is a little bit too tall for us to be able to jump, or not. Okay, so that's kind of cool that you can jump around here. But now, well, yeah, you can kind of see the little teeth that I'm calling here due to our process of creating this rounded shape. But other than that, I think it looks quite cool. Hopefully we can keep our extended platform. And also I'm a little bit weirded out why there's again this gap here. Thanks. Yeah, hopefully we manage to get it ready in time for the summer sale, but if we don't, hopefully it's gonna be sold on some other occasion. So let me just double check what's going on with these pieces here. So these are just children of this node actually. Oh, so there's a little gap. Oh, okay, so perhaps this fixes it. Let me just double check if this issue has been actually resolved. But yeah, that's basically what we have for today, more or less. So place again. Okay. Game maker, edit, and let's see. Okay, it's getting updated. Okay, now it looks smooth. Okay, now we have gotten rid of that, and these small lines I don't really think we can get rid of. So cool. That's our progress for today. It might actually not look like much, but yeah, it took us quite some time. So yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking till the end, and hopefully we see each other on some other stream. And until then, I wish you a good day or whatever time it is, and bye bye.